In the far future, every race in the galaxy feared one planet, Earth. Aliens called it the Human Deathworld. Its air was dangerous. Its oceans were violent. Its animals were deadly. And humans were the most dangerous of all. For hundreds of years, no alien army dared land on Earth again. Old stories spoke about entire fleets disappearing near the planet. Soldiers entered its forests and never returned. Some people believed humans hunted anyone who stepped onto their world. Others believed something even worse lived there. But greed can make fear disappear. Commander Vex stood inside the bridge of a dark alien warship, staring at the blue planet below him. Behind him stood 20 heavily armed soldiers wearing battle armor. One soldier looked nervous. "Commander," he said quietly, "the Galactic Union banned all missions to Earth. Maybe the stories are true." Vex smiled coldly. "Stories do not make people rich." The room became silent. Vex activated a hologram map of Earth. A red mark flashed deep inside a giant dead forest. 3 months ago, Vex said, an old human signal was detected here, hidden underground. The soldiers watched carefully. Ancient human technology still exists on this planet, Vex continued. Weapons, energy cores, military secrets, enough to buy entire star systems. Now the soldiers looked interested. Profit was stronger than fear. The ship slowly entered Earth's atmosphere. Fire covered the windows as the massive vessel shook violently. Then suddenly, everything became quiet. The ship landed deep inside a dark forest covered in thick fog. The soldiers stepped outside carefully. The air felt heavy. No animals moved. No wind blew through the trees. Only silence. One soldier whispered, "This place feels wrong." Commander Vex ignored him and ordered the team forward. As they walked deeper into the forest, strange things started happening. Their scanners stopped working. Their communication signals became weak. One soldier claimed he saw something moving between the trees, but every time they looked, nothing was there. Hours later, night covered the forest completely. The soldiers built a small camp and activated defense drones around the area. Then a loud metal sound echoed in the darkness. Clang. Everyone grabbed their weapons. "Movement detected," one drone announced. But the screen showed nothing. The forest became silent again. Too silent. Suddenly, another soldier noticed something near the camp entrance. Words. Fresh words burned into the dirt. The soldiers slowly stepped closer. Every face turned pale. The message said, "You should have stayed in space." Fear entered the camp for the first time. One soldier looked around nervously. "Commander, humans know we are here." Before Vex could answer, a terrible scream exploded somewhere deep inside the forest. Then the sound suddenly stopped, and something unseen began moving toward their camp through the darkness. The dark forest became completely silent after the scream. No one moved. The alien soldiers stood frozen near the burning message in the dirt. Their weapons pointed toward the trees while the thick fog slowly moved around them like living smoke. Commander Vex tried to stay calm. "Defense drones forward," he ordered. Small floating machines flew into the darkness. Their blue lights disappeared between the giant trees. For a few seconds, everything looked normal. Then the radio exploded with static. One drone camera showed fast movement. Another showed nothing but darkness. Then, crack! The screen of the third drone suddenly filled with blood before shutting off completely. The soldiers stepped back in fear. "What was that?" one whispered. Nobody answered. Commander Vex forced the squad forward. He refused to look weak in front of his soldiers. "We finished the mission," he said coldly. "No matter what is hiding here." The group moved deeper into Black Hollow Forest. The trees looked strange now. Their trunks were huge and twisted like giant claws. Some had deep marks carved into them, marks that looked fresh. Soon the soldiers found something hanging above them. Armor. Alien armor. broken, rusted. One soldier looked up carefully and his face lost all color. "Commander," he whispered. More armor pieces hung from the trees around them. Helmets, weapons, bones, an entire lost squad. The soldiers suddenly understood the truth. The old stories were real. Before anyone could speak, loud footsteps echoed nearby. Thump, thump, thump. The ground itself shook. The squad quickly aimed their weapons into the fog. Then two giant glowing eyes opened between the trees. The creature was massive, tall enough to look down at them from the darkness. Nobody could fully see its body. Only claws, teeth, and those terrible red eyes. One terrified soldier fired his plasma rifle. The bright blast hit the creature directly. But it did nothing. The monster did not even move. Then it disappeared. Fast. Too fast. The soldiers looked around in panic. "Where did it go?" someone screamed. Suddenly a soldier near the back was pulled upward into the trees. His scream echoed through the forest. Blood rained down seconds later. The squad opened fire wildly in every direction. Blue plasma blasts burned through trees while fear destroyed their discipline. Commander Vex grabbed one soldier violently. "Control yourself." Then a strange human voice echoed through the forest. Soft, calm, almost invisible. "You should not have come here." The soldiers spun around, trying to find the speaker. Nothing. Only fog. Then they saw lights ahead. Old metal doors hidden beneath giant roots. Ancient human ruins. The words painted across the entrance were almost erased by time. But Vex could still read them. Project Cerberus. Suddenly the metal doors slowly opened by themselves. Cold air escaped from the darkness below. Then deep underground, something huge roared. The roar from beneath the underground ruins shook the entire forest. Dust fell from the ancient metal walls while the alien soldiers backed away in fear. Even Commander Vex felt cold sweat running down his neck for the first time. The sound did not feel natural. It sounded hungry. One soldier pointed his weapon toward the open doorway. "We should leave," he said quickly. "Right now." But Vex stared into the darkness below. The hidden human vault was finally in front of him. After coming this far, he refused to turn back empty-handed. "We move inside," he ordered. The soldiers obeyed nervously. Small lights on their helmets illuminated the underground tunnel. Rust covered the walls. Old warning signs written in human language appeared everywhere. Danger. AO weapon storage. Authorized personnel only. The deeper they walked, the colder the air became. Then they found something strange. Huge claw marks covered the metal floor. Fresh claw marks. One soldier knelt beside them carefully. "These are new," he whispered. Suddenly the tunnel lights turned on by themselves. The soldiers jumped in shock as an old human computer system slowly activated around them. A calm female voice echoed through hidden speakers. "Containment breach detected." The soldiers looked at each other nervously. "Unknown life forms detected inside facility." Commander Vex stepped forward. "We are not enemies," he shouted. "We only came for technology." The voice answered immediately. "Then you are fools." Before anyone could react, heavy metal doors slammed shut behind the squad. The soldiers panicked and rushed toward the exit, but it was already sealed. Then giant screens on the walls suddenly came alive. Old human video recordings began playing. The aliens watched silently. The videos showed terrible creatures locked inside massive cages deep underground. Some looked like giant beasts with black skin and glowing eyes. Others looked almost human. One creature smashed through solid steel during the recording. Another infected an entire room of human scientists within seconds. The final video showed Earth cities burning in flames while humans fought monsters in the streets. "This facility was created during the last human war," the female voice explained. "Project Cerberus was designed to build biological weapons powerful enough to destroy entire planets. The soldiers stared at the screens in horror. Commander Vex finally understood. Earth was not dangerous because of nature. Earth was dangerous because humans created monsters here. Then the voice spoke again. 3 containment chambers are now open because of your arrival. Every soldier froze. A loud alarm suddenly filled the tunnels. Warning. Apex predator released. Something massive hit a wall nearby. Boom. The lights flickered violently. Another impact followed. Boom. The creature was getting closer. Then a hidden door at the end of the tunnel opened slowly. Several armed humans stepped out wearing black combat armor. Their leader lowered her rifle slightly and stared at the terrified aliens. "You idiots," she said coldly. "Do you have any idea what you just released?" The armed humans surrounded the alien soldiers instantly. Red laser sights covered every soldier's chest while the human leader stepped forward slowly. Her black armor was damaged and covered in old bloodstains. Commander Vex raised his hands carefully. "We did not know this place was active," he said. The woman looked at him with cold eyes. "That excuse will not save anyone." She removed her helmet. Her face looked tired, but dangerous. "I am General Mara," she said, "last commander of Earth's underground defense." The alien soldiers exchanged nervous looks. One soldier whispered quietly, "Humans are still living here." Mara heard him. "Not many," she answered. "Most died long ago trying to keep these things trapped underground." Another loud boom shook the tunnel walls. Dust rained from the ceiling. The humans immediately became tense. Mara turned toward the sound. "It's awake now." Commander Vex frowned. "What exactly escaped?" Mara stayed silent for a moment. Then she activated a hologram from her wrist device. The image showed a giant black creature with 4 arms, glowing red eyes, and a mouth full of massive teeth. "The Titan," Mara said quietly. Even the human soldiers looked afraid when they saw it. Mara continued speaking. "During the last human war, Earth was losing against enemy fleets. So human scientists created biological monsters to fight for us. The hologram changed again. Cities burned. Entire armies disappeared. Planets turned into graveyards. At first," Mara said, "the creatures obeyed humans. Then her face darkened. But monsters do not stay loyal forever." The hologram showed the Titan destroying human tanks and tearing soldiers apart. "It killed millions," Mara said softly. "Humans could not control it anymore." One alien soldier looked horrified. "So you locked them underground?" Mara nodded slowly. "We buried them beneath Earth and erased all records from the galaxy." Commander Vex finally understood why Earth became forbidden. Not because humans were weak, because humans were hiding something worse than war. Suddenly, one of the human soldiers spoke into his radio. "Movement detected near Sector 7. Everyone became alert. Then a terrible sound echoed from deeper inside the tunnels. A human voice screaming for help. "Please help me." One alien soldier quickly moved toward the sound. But Mara instantly grabbed him. "Don't." The soldier looked confused. "But someone is alive down there." Mara's face became deadly serious. "That is not a human anymore." The screaming voice came again, louder this time. "Please. It hurts." Then the voice suddenly changed. Deep, broken, inhuman. "Found you." The tunnel lights exploded one by one. Darkness swallowed the hallway. The soldiers heard fast movement crawling across the ceiling above them. Claws scraped against metal. Everyone aimed their weapons upward nervously. Then glowing white eyes opened in the darkness directly above Commander Vex. A giant creature smiled down at him using a stolen human face. The creature dropped from the ceiling without warning. Its long claws smashed into the floor beside Commander Vex, sending sparks across the dark tunnel. The stolen human face on its body twisted into a horrible smile while its white eyes stared directly at the soldiers. Then it attacked. One alien soldier fired instantly. Blue plasma blasts ripped through the tunnel, but the creature moved unbelievably fast. It crawled across the walls like a giant insect and tore through the soldier before anyone could react. Blood covered the metal floor. The humans opened fire together. Heavy bullets exploded against the monster's black skin, while Mara shouted orders. "Fall back! Move now!" The group ran deeper into the underground tunnels as the creature chased them through the darkness. Behind them, the screams continued. Commander Vex looked back once and saw the monster dragging bodies into the shadows. Then the tunnel doors suddenly sealed shut between them. Silence. Everyone stopped to catch their breath. Only 12 alien soldiers remained alive now. Mara checked a glowing map on her wrist device. Her face became pale. "The Titan is moving toward the surface," she said. Commander Vex frowned. "What happens if it escapes?" One human soldier answered quietly. "Entire planets die." The room became silent again. Mara activated another hologram. The image showed the Titan destroying cities during the Old Human War. Giant buildings collapsed while armies burned under its attacks. "It learns every time it kills," Mara explained. "Weapons stop working against it after repeated attacks." One alien soldier stepped backward nervously. "That thing cannot be stopped." Mara looked directly at him. "It can." She pointed toward a red symbol blinking deep beneath the facility. "The old nuclear containment core still exists under this bunker. If activated manually, the entire underground prison will collapse." Commander Vex immediately understood the problem. Someone must stay behind. Mara nodded slowly. Nobody volunteered. Fear filled every face. The ground suddenly shook violently. A massive roar echoed through the tunnels, closer than before. Dust fell from the ceiling. The Titan was coming. One terrified alien soldier dropped his weapon and started running away alone. "You cannot outrun it," Mara shouted. But it was too late. The screaming started seconds later somewhere inside the darkness ahead. Then silence returned. Commander Vex closed his eyes for a moment. All this death had happened because of his greed. He looked at the remaining soldiers. Most were injured. Most were terrified. Then Vex made his choice. "I will activate the core," he said quietly. The soldiers stared at him in shock. Mara stepped closer. "You understand you will not survive?" Vex gave a small bitter smile. "For the first time in my life, profit no longer matters." Mara handed him the activation key. Warning sirens suddenly filled the bunker. The Titan had reached the final sector. Heavy footsteps slowly echoed toward them. Thump, thump, thump. Then the lights ahead turned red, and a giant shadow appeared at the end of the tunnel. The giant shadow slowly moved closer through the red emergency lights. Every step of the Titan shook the underground bunker like an earthquake. Metal walls bent around its massive body while its glowing red eyes burned through the darkness. Commander Vex tightened his grip on the nuclear activation key. This was the monster that once nearly destroyed humanity. Now it was standing only meters away. Mara aimed her rifle toward the creature. "Go!" she shouted at Vex. "We will hold it back." The remaining humans and alien soldiers opened fire together. Explosions filled the tunnel. Plasma blasts, bullets, rockets, everything struck the Titan at once. But the creature kept walking forward. Unaffected. Its skin adapted to every attack exactly as Mara had warned. The Titan suddenly roared so loudly that several soldiers collapsed in pain. Then it swung one giant arm across the hallway. Metal walls shattered instantly. 2 human soldiers disappeared beneath the destruction. Commander Vex forced himself to keep moving deeper into the bunker while the others fought behind him. Warning sirens screamed around him. Nuclear containment failure in 5 minutes. Vex finally reached the reactor chamber. The room was enormous. Old human machines surrounded a glowing blue nuclear core at the center of the chamber. Sparks flew from broken cables while smoke filled the air. But Vex was not alone. Something moved beside the reactor. A smaller creature slowly stepped from the shadows. White eyes, black skin, long claws. It smiled using another stolen human face. "You cannot stop us," it whispered. The creature attacked instantly. Vex barely dodged its claws and fired his plasma pistol directly into its chest. The monster screamed and slammed him against the control panel. Pain exploded through his body. The activation key slid across the floor. The creature crawled toward it slowly. Vex looked around desperately. Then he saw a damaged fuel pipe leaking beside the reactor. An idea entered his mind. As the creature lunged toward him again, Vex grabbed the broken pipe and pushed it into the monster's mouth. Then he fired his weapon. Boom! Fire exploded across the chamber. The creature burned violently while screaming inhuman sounds. Vex quickly grabbed the activation key and forced it into the reactor console. The computer activated immediately. Manual detonation accepted. 30 seconds remaining. Far above the bunker, Mara and the survivors finally reached the surface. Behind them, the Titan burst from the underground tunnel and charged toward them across the burning forest. Then, the earth exploded. A massive wall of fire erupted from below. Mountains collapsed. Forests vanished. The Titan disappeared beneath the explosion. The survivors watched silently as smoke covered the sky. Days later, the remaining soldiers returned to the Galactic Union and told the truth about Earth. From that day forward, the galaxy feared humans more than ever before. Not because humans were monsters, but because humans were strong enough to create them. And deep beneath the destroyed bunker, one emergency light still blinked in the darkness. Then a weak alien voice whispered, "Is anyone still alive?" Thanks for watching. Subscribe my channel. See you in next video.